Now joining us live is National Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie. Bridget McKenzie, thank you for your time. We've just had these reports come through about potential closing of the border between Victoria and New South Wales. We do believe that's going to go ahead from midnight tomorrow night. You're right on the border there. How would this impact your community?
It'll be devastating. I live in Wodonga. The broader Albury-Wodonga region is a region of over 100,000 people, with thousands working on the side of the border that they don't live in. We share a health system, we share an education system, and it will have severe impacts on our local economy and livability with restricting this border. We're seeing the border hasn't been closed for over a century. And I guess I'm really struggling as someone that lives, works and represents rural and regional communities to understand this reaction. The reality here is in our own health system on the border here in Albury-Wodonga, we have not had an active case of COVID-19 for over 92 days. That's 3 months since we've had an active case. And in fact, 98% of all of Victoria's active COVID-19 cases are actually in Melbourne, the capital of Victoria, long way away from where we are. And it's not just Albury-Wodonga, it's Echuca Moama, we've got Waggunya, where the Uncle Toby's factory is. So this is going to cause severe disruption right along our border communities between New South Wales and Victoria for an issue and a hotspot in Melbourne that is obviously of concern and is being dealt with locally. But we always knew that these issues would be arising as we learnt as a nation to deal with COVID-19 and learning how to live with that virus within our community, maintaining social distancing, etc., washing hands. These are things we all have to do to make sure that we don't see these hotspot break out.
Can you just expand on that point, though, about the health services in Albury-Wodonga? Because that's a real serious concern if you need to go to a hospital and you're closing the border, and what is a border that goes right through the middle of Albury-Wodonga. I know a lot of our viewers wouldn't be familiar with that particular part of the world, but is that going to restrict people being able to access medical care?
Well, you'd think so, because on one side of the border we have certain medical procedures being offered and certain specialist services, and on the other side of the border we have other. That's a way that we as a community have been able to really efficiently share health resources between New South Wales and Victoria. So it's quite a fluid system. I mean, we go across the bridge. It's like 2 cities, 1 community is our catchphrase. And the reality is this will cause severe impact economically, but as I said, also socially with health impacts for really dealing with an issue that is hundreds and hundreds of kilometres away in Melbourne. It's very, very disappointing. I'll be interested to hear what Premier Andrews has to say going forward, because the reality is we always knew that these hotspots would occur as we as a nation dealt with this virus, with the envy of the world economically and health-wise in how we've dealt with this issue. But I'll need to see the details of the Premier's press conference shortly before I can fully comment on the impact to my local community.
Do you think that we're seeing this resurgence of cases in Victoria because Victoria's just been unlucky, or has it been mismanaged?
Well, I think you see the issues with security personnel at our quarantine facilities in Victoria has been mismanaged. I think that's pretty clear. That'll all come out in the inquiry that's been called. I think we need to give this virus the respect that it deserves. It's highly contagious, and we need to be following the medical advice always. That's what's led to the great success that we've had as a nation in flattening that curve, but we can't be complacent. As we've sought to lift restrictions in a sensible and measured manner across the country and in our communities, we still need to do the right things in maintaining social distancing, washing our hands, and understanding that this is a highly contagious virus and we need to minimise its impact in our broader community by doing the right things as individuals and not thinking, great, I can head out to the pub, the restaurants are open, it's all, we're back to normal. This is the new normal and we need to adjust our behaviour accordingly.
And we heard on the weekend Matthias Cormann, the Finance Minister, announcing he'll be stepping down later in the year. That means there's likely to be a cabinet reshuffle. Would you like to see perhaps another woman put into cabinet?
Well, I'm always keen to see more rural and regional Australians in the cabinet because they're fighting for the issues that I want to see addressed. So I'll be fighting to make sure that we get more representation in cabinet from people from rural areas. But I just want to say just what a pleasure it's been to work with Matthias as the National Senate leader. He's a great collaborator. He's highly respectful, not just of the crossbench, but of us as a National Party cohort within the broader government team in the Senate. And I know he'll be sorely missed, his leadership within the chamber and within government ranks as well.
Bridget McKenzie, National Senate Leader, thank you for your time.
Anytime, Annelise.
Authorised by Bridget McKenzie, National Party of Australia, Wodonga.